All right, today's topic is intercepts of graphs. Okay, so we talk about graphs, I'm talking about graphs, line graphs and everything, and functions specifically is what we're talking about today. So, talk about intercepts, I'm talking about the x-intercept and y-intercept. So the x-intercept, right, is where the graph crosses the x-axis, right? And the y-intercept is where the graph crosses the y-axis. Right, pretty self-explanatory, right? So if I draw it here, right, we know that our x-axis is the horizontal line, our y-axis is our vertical line, right? So if our graph, let's just draw a line, right? Okay, draw a line here, right? So our x-axis, or sorry, our x-intercept is where it crosses the x-axis. So where it crosses our x-axis here is at this point. So this is our x-intercept right here. And our y-intercept is where it crosses the y here. Okay, so our x-intercept is this one, where it crosses the x. Our y-intercept is here, where it crosses the y. Okay, so that's what we're talking about here. All right. Now we can also say, talking about where functions are positive and negative. Okay. So a function is positive, right, when the graph is above the x-axis. All right. So it's positive when it's above the x, all right, and it's negative when, you guessed it, below the x. Okay, so a function is positive when the graph is above the x-axis, and it's negative when it's below it. Okay, so what do I mean by that? So I'll show you right here. So we have our little graph here, all right, and just for fun, all right, let's do this. All right, so there's our graph, our function. All right, function is our line there. I don't need numbers for this. I'm just trying to show you positive and negative. Okay. So like I said, it's positive when it's above the x, and it's negative when it's below the x. Right. So if I go from left to right, okay, everything is like it's like reading from left to right, and I look to see where our graph crosses the x-axis. It crosses it at this point here. Okay. So that means everything above is positive, and everything below here is negative. Okay. So above the x is positive, below the x is negative. Okay. So let's do an example here. Okay, this probably doesn't make sense right now, but let's make it make sense. Okay. So we have our graph. All right. All right. So let's do. All right. So first step is we need our x and y intercepts. Okay. So what is our x-intercept? So where does the line cross the x-axis? All right. So it crosses the x right here. All right. So x-axis right here at, this is be a positive 1, right? This is 0. This would be a positive 1, right? So our line, our x-intercept would be at 1, okay? Now what about our y-intercept? Our y-intercept is where it crosses the y-axis here. So I count up right here, all right? So I count up from 0, so 1, 2, 3. So 3 is where our y-intercept. Now, where is it positive? Okay? So it's positive. Remember, anything above the x is positive. So anything above here, right, above here is positive. So if I'm looking at my x-intercept here at 1, right, it means everything that's graph above here, this is all positive, right? So how I'm going to write this, all right, is x, that's what I'm looking at, x. Now, which way is this line going? Is it going left or right? Going up, right? It's going left, right? So if it's going left, that means it's less than, okay, and our x-intercept, which is 1. Boom. So what we're saying is that this graph, this function here, is positive, everything less than 1, right? Now, where is it negative? It's negative below the x. So the easy way to do this, right, is just to flip this and say everything greater than 1 is negative. So look, here's our x-intercept, right? Close enough. Okay. Everything on this side is positive. Everything on this side is negative, right? So all of this, so if we're going, less than greater than, less than. So everything on this side is less than, right? So here, this is less than 1, it's on the left side. This is greater than 1, it's on the right side. That's how that works out. Okay? Let's try a different one. Okay. Okay. Let's do here, okay? So, first thing, x-intercept, remember this is x, y, x-intercept here, alright, so this is starting from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so it crosses the x at 5, right? Our y-intercept down here, so our 0 going down, 1, 2, 3, because we're going down 3, it's negative, so negative 3, right? Now, if we're looking at positive, negative, remember, positive is above the x, negative is below the x. So we look at our x-intercept here. Our x-intercept is 5, right? Now, which way is this line going? It's going to the right, right? It's going this way, it's going to the right. So if it's going to the right, it's going to be greater than 5, right? Which means the opposite, negative, is less than. So everything going up this way, positive, it's greater than. Everything this way, it's going down, it's negative, it's less than. Okay? Right. Let's try one more. This one's a little different, okay? Now what happens when your graph is not a straight line? So what if we did this? What if that was our function, right? X-intercept, now y-intercept, positive, negative. So when you do these problems, guys, it's going to be, we're looking at this, right? What's our x, what's our y, where's it positive, where's it negative, right? So, x-intercepts, where's across the x-axis? Okay, so if you look, it crosses twice actually, right? It crosses here and here. So there's two x-intercepts, right? We have one at negative 2, right? 1, 2, going left is negative, right? And one at positive 2. So we have two x-intercepts, right? Now, about our y, okay? Our y, it crosses once down here, right? 1, 2, 3. It crosses negative 3 again, okay? So only one y-intercept right here, but two x's, negative 2, positive 2, right? Now, where is it positive? Okay, so here's where it gets a little tricky, right? We have two x-intercepts, right? We have one here and we have one here. So we have to look at both of them. So look at our left one first, right? It's x, it's always x, all right? So if we look here, where is our arrow going? Is it going left or right? Remember, positive is above, so all this is positive, right? Where is it going? Is it going left or right? Our arrow is going left, right? If it's going left, it's less than, right? Now, what's our point? Our point is -2. Now, where else is it positive? It's also positive over here, right? Remember, everything above the x. So it's not only this line, but it's this line here. So this line here is also positive. Well, which way is this going? It's going right. It's going right, greater than, and what's our point here? Our point here, +2. So we can say that a graph is positive, everything less than -2, because it's going left, right? And everything greater than +2. Okay? So now what does that mean for our negative? Well, once again, it's the opposite. So we can just flip our symbols. So our -2, our less than -2, turns into greater than -2. Our greater than +2 turns into less than +2. Because here, our less than, right? Here's our -2. It's going to the right, greater than. Our +2, it's going this way, it's going left, less than 2. Okay? So that's how that works.